in 2001 by former Tax Commissioner Tom Zano. It's intended to honor one or more persons who have been engaged in the field of state and local taxation, whose service and professionalism have contributed significantly to the fair and efficient functioning and administration of Ohio's tax system. Past honorees include Tax Commissioners Roger Tracy, Edgar Lindley, Joanne Limbach, and Stan Bowers, former legislators Richard Finan and Sally Kilbane, Ohio Chamber President Jack Reimers, who was in the field of state and local taxation for about 35 years, Capital University Law School Professor Addison Dewey, and a number of former tax practitioners and tax directors from business and industry, including some former tax administrators at the tax department. Our honoree this year is Keener Johnson for his significant contributions to the field of state and local taxation, including his service as chairman of the Ohio Board of Tax Appeals from 1991 to 2003. Just to give you a little bit of his biography, Keener served in the U.S. Navy as a petty officer, 3rd class. From 1944 to 1946, he received his BA in economics from, unfortunately, the University of Michigan in 1951, and his JD from Michigan Law School in 1952. We'll forgive you for that, Keener. He served as an Ohio Assistant Attorney General from 1952 to 1957, representing the tax commissioner before the Board of Tax Appeals, State Courts of Appeal, and the Ohio Supreme Court. After a stint as Deputy Insurance Superintendent from 57 through 59, he went into private tax law practice from 1960 through 1990, when he retired from the law firm of Baker and Hostetler. Not one to stay retired for long, Keener then served with true distinction and integrity as the chairman of the Ohio Board of Tax Appeals from 1991 to 1993. This award is our thanks to him for his service to the state of Ohio, its citizens, and its taxpayers. We're gratified that Keener has most of the members of his family with him today. And so with that, please join me in congratulating Keener Johnson on the Tax Hall of Fame.
Dan, thank you very much. Dan called me. I was down in Florida looking out over the Intercoastal, and I thought possibly the award could be presented in absentia. But I was so gratified to be remembered after all these years that I came up here. And truly, it's been a great run. I spent 30 years plus parsing out sales tax, franchise tax, highway use tax, personal property tax statutes, which was a lot of fun and not nearly as complicated as what I listened to today with the clouds and internet, intellectual property, God knows what other technical things have been imposed upon our otherwise simple tax system. After 30 some odd years, I did accept an appointment to the chairman of the Board of Tax Appeals. And I'm reluctant to say that I did root for the Buckeyes. And as the #1 quarterback says, it's not my award, it's the team. And so I want to recognize that I served both of my terms with Louise Jackson, served a term with Ranjan Manoranjan, and together we worked hard and started with a stale and huge docket of cases, which took years to work our way through. We instituted a mediation practice for real estate appeals, which we thought was very successful. And the idea was that probably the parties that lived in the county and knew the property would know its value. If we could relieve some of the tension of the courtroom, that would be an appropriate way to resolve an awful lot of those disputes. And the Supreme Court still has a mediation practice going in that area. We also developed a website which was simple enough for me to understand. And so it was a great 12 years. And I think I've probably, except for the last, since my retirement, have been to all of the Ohio tax conferences. And I certainly want to commend the Chamber of Commerce for creating this wonderful opportunity for us tax practitioners to engage in studying the scene and keeping up with the current law and maybe creating some new current law. So thank you very much, Dan. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Chamber, and thank all of you. Appreciate the honor. Oh, one last thing. I forgot to pay tribute to Bill Dunlap, who was a colleague, friend for 50 years or more. He was an attorney examiner and snuck into the office one afternoon and took the picture just to prove that I did show up.